Three Rivers Archery, your longbow and recurve experts.
Hi, today we're talking about arrow wraps and putting them on your arrows. So let's break down the basics of what an arrow wrap is. An arrow wrap, also known as a cap wrap, you put on your arrow shaft right behind the nock, and it sits on the back part where you'd fletch to. So you'll put your fletching over it. Like we have some examples here of how it will look. And the reason this is because to style your arrows, especially wood arrows, a lot of fletchers would cap dip their arrows. So they'd have paint and they would dip their arrow in that the back, usually 7 inches, sometimes 10 inches, and then they would crest it at the end to split the transition for it. Adds just nice look and flair on wood arrows, but for carbons and aluminums, when you use the cap wraps, it provides a few other benefits. One, it does spice it up, makes it look nice, especially these crested wraps really add some customizing to it that you don't have to have a cresting machine for. But for putting it on there, you can then easily fletch to it. Glues will stick to this material a lot easier. You don't have to worry about the finish on your carbon shaft. And then also if you ever have to refletch your arrow, so say, feathers are taking damages, whether you use glue or fletching tape, it's a lot easier to just scrape this off or peel one of these off, put a new wrap on, and fletch right over it. So you can really get a lot of bang for your buck out of your arrows. And to get a wrap off, if you ever need to, if you don't want to scrape it off, you can boil some water, and the heat from it, rising up to it, will get in there, weaken the glue, and then it's able to be peeled off. It's a slower process, but if you don't want to be messing with a knife or a feather scraper, you can do that and peel it right off the shaft. And then clean it up, grab another one to fletch, or to roll on, and then you can fletch on it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to install one of these. I have a traditional-only bare bow. This is a skinny diameter shaft. Now for the wraps that we sell, most of them range in about 7 inches of length, which gives you about proper distance from the base of the nock there, end of the shaft, to where a decal will start. And it should cover whatever length fletching you're putting on there, depending on how much space you're putting between the nock and the back of the feather. But 7 inches is kind of a standard, and it's where we go. So what I like to do when I'm using these, I have a few things. I like to use a mouse pad. So this is a really old mouse pad that I have. The biggest thing is, if you can, not to do it on a hard surface, because if there's any cracks or crevices in that, part of the wrap will dip into that and it'll show on the end product. Where if you use a mouse pad, it's got some cushion to it. Still a smooth surface, but some cushion. So, how I go about doing these, got our shaft ready to go there. You can use a knife to peel one of these off, or however you want to go about it. For the crested ones, it's picking which side you want. We're going to do this as the back end of our arrow. And what I like to do is I look straight down on it. I like to do the standing up so I can look straight down. I take the arrow, I match the spot up there so that I can see a little bit of the wrap this way. This is an adhesive back, so you have a little bit of wiggle room with it, but once you press down, you kind of want to be committed to rolling it on. Otherwise, you can stretch it, tear it, put a wrinkle in it. You don't want that. So I like to do a little bit on this side, looking straight down, and I can eye it up going across the shaft, and then I will press down, like I said, until you're really pushing down hard. You've got some wiggle room to it, but then you roll back, which does that, and then this way, and then it's just, I line it up at the nock here to make sure that that's straight, because I know if I kept this side straight, as long as I keep that there, everything will be in line. And these wraps are made so they can fit on a 23/64 diameter shaft and smaller. Now when you get smaller, there's just going to be some overlap on that. Nothing to worry about. You're not going to see the line. It's not adding a lot of material there, so you don't need to worry about a bump or any of that. And they're super lightweight. I don't know what they weigh, but I mean, they're lightweight. And that's it. That one is done. This one's ready to put in a fletcher and fletch it up. Yeah, it adds a nice bit of style to an arrow. There's tons of color options out there. There's even clear wraps, so if you like the arrow there, you just want the advantages of being able to refletch and having that strong glue hold, easy enough to do. I'm Jonathan Karch with Three Rivers Archery. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. If you really like the video, please hit that share button to share with your friends and family. If you have any questions, comment them below and we'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching.